I showed up in a wedding dress to someone else's wedding, but I didn't know it was a wedding. And when I found out, I asked the groom if I should leave and change. He looked me straight in the eyes, smiled, and said, "You're fine." Turns out, I wasn't. Because a few hours later, I'd be blocked on everything by the bride and her new husband. All because I cosplayed a dead bride at what I thought was just a costume party. Let me take you back. My name's Dan. I'm 19, a guy from Australia, and I've been a cosplayer for years. It's my thing. I don't drink. I don't go clubbing. But give me a reason to put on full body paint and a crazy costume, I'm there. So when one of my closest friends, she's 20, got engaged, I was genuinely happy for her. We've known each other a few years, and when she messaged me about a small party to celebrate, I didn't think twice. She called it a costume party. No theme, just come in costume. So I asked her, "Hey, is there any specific theme?" "Nope," she replied. That was all I needed to know, and I thought, what better way to celebrate an engagement than to show up as Emily, the corpse bride? It was perfect, creepy, ironic, theatrical, a touch of Tim Burton flair. I had the full costume already, tattered veil, ghostly gown, and head-to-toe blue paint. I wasn't trying to be a joke. I wasn't mocking her engagement. I thought I was bringing flair to the theme. When I arrived, everything felt right. People were in all kinds of wild costumes. Someone was dressed as a dinosaur. Another was in a pirate outfit. Laughter, music, snacks, drinks. Some people complimented my costume. I felt welcomed. I felt like me. But 10 minutes in, everything shifted. Her fiancé stepped out in a black tuxedo, confident, calm, like a man about to deliver a punchline. And then he did. "Everyone," he announced, "this isn't just a party. This is our wedding." People gasped. Someone dropped a plastic cup. And I froze. I was standing there, in a wedding dress, at someone's actual wedding. I was painted blue. I had ghost makeup. But still, a wedding dress is a wedding dress. I could already feel the heat creeping up my neck. My stomach sank. Immediately, I went to the groom. "Hey," I whispered. "I didn't know this was a wedding. I can run home and change real quick. I'll be back before it starts." He looked at me, calm, unbothered. He said, "No, it's fine. You didn't know. You look great. Stay." I didn't push. I took him at his word. I trusted him. I followed the rest of the guests into the backyard where the ceremony took place. The whole thing lasted maybe 20 minutes. It was casual, sweet, intimate. I clapped, I cheered, I smiled, and the whole time I tried to stay in the back. At the reception, which was just the same house party continuing, I tried to speak to my friend, to say congratulations, but she avoided me. Politely, quietly, but definitely. I figured she was just overwhelmed, tired, or maybe wanted alone time with her new husband. I gave her space. The party ended. I went home, still wearing blue paint. About 30 minutes later, my phone blew up. It was her, the bride, my friend. No emojis, no kindness, just rage. She said I had ruined her wedding, that it was basic knowledge not to wear a wedding dress to a wedding. I stared at the messages, stunned. I told her I didn't know, that I thought it was just a party, that I'd asked her husband if I should change, and he said it was okay. She didn't reply, but someone else did. The groom. His tone was different, colder. "Why did you tell her I said it was fine?" he asked. I was confused. "Because you did," I responded. He snapped back. "You should have changed anyway. You've made us fight." And then, silence. By the next morning, I was blocked on everything. Her, him, both gone. No conversation, no resolution, just erased. And I kept replaying everything in my mind. Over and over. The moment I got the invite, the messages, the costumes, the laughter, the groom's words. Stay. You look great. Was I supposed to read between the lines? Was he trying to keep the peace, and I should have known better? Was I really supposed to just know? Because I would have changed. I would have gone home. I would have peeled the paint off my face, thrown on jeans, and come back in 10 minutes. But I wasn't given that chance. And now, I'm the villain in someone else's love story. So, am I the asshole? Was I wrong for trusting what he told me? Was I wrong for showing up in costume to what I thought was just a party? Was I wrong for not knowing something I was never told? I don't know. But I do know this. I never meant to hurt anyone. And I lost 2 friends without ever getting to say that out loud. So, tell me, am I the asshole? This story sits in that uncomfortable space between miscommunication and betrayal. It's easy to laugh at it. A man shows up in a corpse bride costume to a surprise wedding and gets blamed for stealing attention. It sounds like a sitcom plot, but look deeper. And it's a story about trust. The trust we place in our friends. The trust we place in someone's words. And the deep shock of realizing that trust wasn't mutual. Our narrator didn't show up to cause pain. He showed up to celebrate in the way he knew how, with color, creativity, and humor. He asked. He listened. He followed the cues given to him. But sometimes, people don't want the truth. They want someone to blame. And that's what this groom did. Instead of standing beside the friend he reassured, he backed away. He folded. And in doing so, he turned a wedding memory into a wedge. To the bride, I know weddings are emotional, but you can't ambush people with expectations you never voiced. If you want control, you need to be transparent. And if you want forgiveness, you have to be honest. To the groom, don't say, "It's fine," if you don't mean it. And don't blame someone else for your cowardice. To the audience, what would you have done? Would you have changed anyway? Would you have trusted your friend's fiancé? Would you have forgiven someone who truly didn't know? Let us know in the comments. And remember, sometimes doing everything right still isn't enough for people who want to be mad. But that doesn't make you the villain. It just means their story isn't meant to include you anymore. You're listening to AITA Story Vault. See you in the next one.